tell you a little bit of story about our presenter. I first met Dr. Cooper when she was looking for MFT programs. And she did an interview at Drexel, but she didn't come to Drexel, even though we accepted her. She decided to go to Syracuse for her master's, which was fine, because she circled back around and decided to get her PhD from Drexel. So we won out. I think we had the better deal. And then one of the things that you all should know that's not in the bio is that Candice was in the first cohort, second cohort of the MFP?
I think so, yes.
So she's an alum, and I invited Dr. Cooper Lovett, who is recently married as well, to present tonight, because the fellows in the past have asked me to have people come in who are in private practice and have started their own business. And I'm very proud of Candice because she has branded herself in Atlanta, Georgia, and has started a business and has stayed true to her area of interest, which is IPV. So I am going to turn the mic over to Dr. Cooper Lovett, and she is going to present tonight on From PhD to Confident CEO, the road to becoming an entrepreneur after PhD. Candice.
Okay, thank you. Oh yes, perfect. Good. I'm spoiled because I'm used to a mic. How's everyone doing this evening? Good. So I will start off a little personal before jumping in, because you'll learn all about me on the business side of things. I am originally from Buffalo, New York, born and raised, and I have relocated from Buffalo to Syracuse, Syracuse to Philadelphia, Philadelphia back to Buffalo, and Buffalo to Atlanta in 2014. So it's been quite a journey for me. Personally, things going on. I'm excited because I've never been to the Essence Festival, and honestly, the girls trip will be motivated, me and my friends. So I'm super stoked about that in July. Also, the marriage thing, did get married last April. We celebrated 1 year a couple weeks ago, and I tell my clients, marriage is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, including more than the PhD actually. So it's a rewarding and a beautiful thing, but marriage is work, as we all know that, and the work that we do every day. So I was very excited and appreciative of Dr. Brooks here to ask me to speak at this fellowship meeting in regards to the business side of things, because a lot of times during my doctoral studies with my cohort and my colleagues, I was the only one who really didn't want to go into full-time academia. So with that being said, you know, doctoral programs usually teach us and raise us to be scholars, researchers, academicians, and I knew for myself that I didn't want to be on that track. I didn't know at the time where I wanted to be, but I knew I didn't want to do full-time academia. However, I am an adjunct at Mercy University and clinical supervisor, so I do part-time supervision to the master's level MFT students at the clinic. So that's rewarding for me because I'm not full-time. So as a result of that, I had to kind of figure things out on my own, bump my head a whole lot of times, and didn't have a lot of opportunities to learn from other MFTs or clinicians of what it took to start a business. So I was excited to have the opportunity to share this information with you, with the hopes that whomever is interested, because I'll ask in a few moments, in doing this type of work or entrepreneurship, that you get that path started. And I'm more than happy to share my cards. I got cards, information, and I'm more than happy to share those things. So before I begin officially, how many of you are interested in doing like full-time entrepreneurship or part-time entrepreneurship? I know you mentioned something. Okay, great. So this should be pretty informative. I'll just start here, the little outline, introduction, my journey, some of the challenges that I've been through, the things that went well, things to pay attention to, and how to grow and expand. And I'm pretty transparent about my process, where I've been and where I'm going, just for the hopes of being more helpful. So like I said, I kind of went over this. Born and raised Buffalo, New York. University of Buffalo was my undergraduate. I was a McNair scholar. They, helped us to learn how to speak and do those things and led us on the track for PhD because I knew I wanted my doctorate even when I was in high school. But interestingly enough, I was a biochemistry major because I wanted to be an MD. But then I changed my mind and figured that, I was more interested in psychology and mental health in the mind. As Dr. Brooks stated, master's at Syracuse, Drexel, PhD. And ultimately, honestly, when I graduated at first, I remember when I defended my dissertation, and actually one of the speakers, Dr. Mona Matal, she had asked what the next steps were. I was like, I have no idea. So I just knew that I had a large task ahead of me. And, soon after, I was like, I think I want to be clinical director. As soon as I graduated, I think I officially got conferred in March of 2013, graduated in June of that year. When I got back to work, my boss had got promoted to executive director, so I was like, so where does that leave me? What am I? She's like, oh yeah, you're the clinical director now. I said, oh, okay. So it wasn't nothing I asked for or applied for, so immediately I became clinical director of outpatient community-based agency, and I did that for a few years, and then I relocated to Atlanta where I was clinical director again, and then at that point I was like, okay, I'm over it, been there, done that. And it wasn't fulfilling for me. I realized that I paid my dues and I didn't feel like having an employer anymore. I wanted to be my own boss. And so that's where the seed got planted. I had went to a workshop and one of my colleagues, Dr. Hill Helms, I had met her. She did a presentation on self-care, and we had linked up through LinkedIn actually. And I wanted to get approved supervision hours from her so I could become an approved supervisor. So we got to talking about goals, and I was like, yeah, in the next 5-10 years, I wouldn't mind starting a private practice. In my mind, it seemed so far-fetched because it was such a vast thing. And she was like, girl, you got the same credentials, what are you doing? She was like, you can do this right now. Why wait another 5-10 years? She's like, I'll show you the ropes. I'll give you kind of the grounding of what you need to do to even start. So first thing she told me to read, and I have her website, is Casey Truffle. She's an MFT out of California, and her book is the backbone of how I started my practice. She's very thorough, very detailed, tells you exactly what you need and what to do to get started. And here, I then created a business plan. I just want to show you, this is a very, very, very rough draft. This was when I first started. Okay, so you can't really see it well, but is this a clicker? Is this the way you can do it with a little red light, Is this, oh, I see, okay, yep. So, yeah. I'm trying to see is there a way for me to zoom in here and it won't even give me the opportunity to do that. Because, yeah, thank you. Maybe I gotta escape out of there and then go back in or something.
Right on the bottom, actually. If you go back to Word, on the bottom, right, it's 100%.
It shows up like it's a PowerPoint screen. Okay. But I want to take, because I want to spend a whole lot of time on the page, but just to zoom this in so you can kind of see a little bit.
Right on the bottom, I think. Right at a time. You need time on the bottom.
Because it shows the different, it just shows the presentation. As we see it.
Sorry.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah, I guess it's just a matter of zooming. Okay, perfect. All right, so thank you, Chris. So here, I kind of started off with my business name. So my business name is A New Creation in Psychotherapy Services. So I guess not to get on spiritual soapbox, but I prayed for what is something that I wanted to convey? What is the title that would capture what it is that I'm looking for? Because I'm big on post-traumatic growth. I don't know if you've heard of that phenomenon. So I wanted to have something to capture something that can grow out of a destructive situation and become beautiful as a result of it. So I kind of gave my little list of names I want to call it. And this is all from the Casey Truffle book. Of what she said to do, my mission statement, what I want to be known for. This is random stuff here, but my future plans. This was my little corny logos. When I first started off, I didn't have anything whatsoever, but I wanted something to capture what I wanted to show. My company descriptions, the type of clients, and this, I'll speak more to this later, which is very important, of your niche, of what the type of clients that you want to serve. The client profile, the type of individuals that you would not like to serve. And also another piece is finances, because a lot of us, especially as therapists, we don't like to talk about that. And that is a very critical piece in business and private practice. Let me put this back here. Hold on. Okay. All right. So, like I said, with the business plan, you have all these things that's included. And like I said, the main thing, because I've known some amazing clinicians who did not succeed in business. Business is business. Therapy is therapy. And it's learning to kind of compartmentalize and separate the two. So this is kind of where I started. Now, here, this was my initial logo. And I had hired a business coach, and this woman here is amazing. I met her where I supervised her at my first job when I was in Atlanta. She was a supervisee, and realized that she had some amazing skill sets. So not only is she a great marketing person, she did my makeup for my picture, she did my makeup for my wedding, she did my website, you know, and she was an amazing person, and still keep in touch with her to this day, and she gives me business tips because she's a business coach. She works along with another young man who's really good at what they do, and they really taught me the things that I needed to know to brand myself. So, you know, starting off, it was just me and her, paid her $10 an hour, had her work 4 hours a week, $40 little, you know, and she was more than happy because she was a student at the time. And, you know, I used Google for everything. Google Drive was my thing, you know, where I created my templates. I went and emailed different companies and agencies that service the clients that I want to work with, which was primarily domestic violence, sexual abuse, assault, couples. So I emailed different hospitals, sexual assault services, and I did in-services. So basically, in-services is where you present to the staff and you talk to them about your services, what you're providing, and how you can be a benefit to them. So when you're doing, you know, a networking, I can do a whole workshop on this all on networking, but when you do those things, it's showing that, hey, you know, you're doing something for me, but let me show you that I can also do something for you, so it doesn't seem so one-sided, because people can sense when you're just after, oh, what's my personal gain? So that was a piece that I had to do a lot of. So it was a lot of planting seeds. And, you know, doing Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and she did all that for me. She managed those social media accounts because I didn't have time. I was working full time as clinical director and building my practice at the same time. So imagine financially, I'm in the red right now. And because we have overhead, we have office space, Psychology Today, you know, all those things that does the marketing that you have to pay for, those things are coming out on the front end, and you still have other expenses, your living expenses, so you start off in the red. So me, I'm a very frugal person, and if I can do it for free starting off, I'm gonna do it for free to the best of my ability. Like this picture was not my first picture. I had a selfie, and I remember my business coach, he was like, so if I looked at that picture, what would people think of that? I was like, it looked bootleg or something. He was like, yes. He was like, you need something professional that people are gonna take you serious. Because when you have a selfie or something that you took with your camera phone, they're gonna assume like this is a joke, and it's unfortunate because people make first impressions off of your picture. It's just the reality of it all. You can be an amazing clinician, and I tell my supervisees all the time, she has a picture, and I had to be honest with her, I was like, frankly, I don't like that picture, you need a professional photo. And she's not getting any hits the way she wants to. Not primarily because of the photo, but I feel like it plays a part. So, and let me go to this part, the challenges. First challenge was figuring out what the heck, where to start, what I was doing. I didn't know, I was like, okay, I have to find an office space someplace. I didn't know where to find an office space, How I did it, I know I lived on the south side of Atlanta. There wasn't a lot of resources out there on the south side, you know, and most all the therapists are in the north, so it's more saturated. The city of Atlanta and above the city of Atlanta. Mostly everything on the south side, there's not a lot of resources. The malls aren't as great, you know, it's just a difference. So I knew that for me, that side of town would be a gold mine. So I wanted something initially by the bus line, but fortunately where I am, I'm in Fayetteville, Georgia, so it's like a suburb of Atlanta, mostly Republican based, to be honest. And, you know, I was afraid at first because I knew the population that I want to serve was populations of color. So, but as a result, it's because the marketing piece, which I'll get into later. Getting panel on insurances, I will never forget this. CAQH, when you get your life, it's a pain in the neck, it really is. And I remember throwing my computer down crying because I didn't know what to do. I'm like, I don't get it. Like, I'm screaming at the computer, didn't know what to do. It's so much paperwork, you know, and I was lost a lot and figuring it out on my own. And even with, you know, the colleague that I had that kind of started me off on my feet, she was like, girl, because she had been into it 5 years in, so she didn't even remember how you do it. It changes frequently. And also billing, I do my own billing. That was the thing I had to learn on my own as well. That was a shot in the dark. My first year in business, I started 2015, I lost a lot of money because I didn't know what I was doing. And insurance companies do not care. There's times that I scream and yell at them, and they don't care. It's just like, sorry, you know, maybe next time, it's too late, it's this, it's that. And they're more in a place to not help than they are to help. So that was a big piece too if you're thinking about insurance. That's another factor because you have to think about diagnosis, assessments, paperwork, documentation, all those things. Same with self-pay, it's best practice to do those things, but clients, the plus for them is that they don't have to have a diagnosis versus insurance where you have to. My relationship with money, big. I struggled for a lot. You know, my first appointment I had, she had a copay of $30, and Casey Truthful says you collect the money in the front. I was too scared. So I was like, okay, this lady just poured her heart out, crying. How do I ask her, like, hey, you know, you got that $30 copay that you owe me. So I had to learn my money style, and this is through a woman, a business coach named Monica Shaw, she's amazing. And I learned my money style, and it was Saver, Protector, and Martyr. So Martyr, she said, you therapists are mostly martyrs. You know, you do sliding scales. Sometimes you don't take the money, you know, and she's like, I know you have a bleeding heart, but your business is dying because of that. So, you know, at first I had to get comfortable with it, saying, okay, your copay is $30, how are you paying cash or card? You know, keep it simple. And it's sad when they boo-hoo cried the whole time, but after they, you know, okay, cash or card, you know, let's get this, let's get this thing started, you know, and then after a while they begin to understand, like, oh, let me pay you, you know, but it's just getting comfortable with yourself and with collecting money, because ultimately it is a business, it is a service that you're providing, and you deserve to be paid what you're worth. Even when it comes to your payments, like at first, my minimum, my base was $50. So I was like, okay, if it's self-pay, it's like, I wouldn't even give them a chance to say yes or no. I'd be like, oh, I charge $85 an hour, but I do a sliding scale if you want. So it's just, I had to stop that too, because of course people will be like, oh, I do that $50, that's fine, you know, because they're gonna go with what's cheaper. But I had to realize, you're not only paying for my time, you're paying for my value. And you have to recognize, like, if I work for $100 an hour, it's $100 an hour flat. And most therapists do sliding scales as well. And I stopped doing that officially just this past January. So I say $100 flat for individual, $150 couple, $200 family, flat. If you can't afford it, and as Monica Shaw says, I'll be quoting her a lot, they're not meant to be a client. And that has helped me set boundaries with myself, because you're your biggest challenge, ultimately, when it comes to those things and growing your business. Like I said, the extra overhead, starting off in the red, had to budget very well, and I'm very much a budgeter. I'm one of those people that check their accounts every morning like clockwork to see where money is coming, where money is leaving, and having to really learn how to manage those things, live your life, and grow your business at the same time simultaneously, which is not the easiest thing to do. Marketing, that's a whole thing in itself. So when you think about marketing, you think about the brand, what is it that you want to stand for? So my business coach, you know, to this day I think about Dr. Hardy and how he would make fun of me. Well, he was serious with me when he would get mad at me, but I love Mary J. Blige. And so I remember I did a presentation and I didn't know all the answers. He was like, I bet you know all those Mary J. Blige lyrics though. So it was just like, ooh, you got me there, but you know. So my business coach, and I was flattered and told me, he was like, you know what, you give me that Mary J. Blige, homegirl next door / you know what you're talking about, like you're a professional, I can come to you, but I'm not your friend. You know, so that's the brand that he told me. He was like, if that's you, living your truth and be your authentic self, because you're going to get the clients that you want because of that. Not a facade, not a thing of what I think I want to be, but who I actually am and working off of that. So that's what it, like even my messages, my Instagram messages, is all tailored to my beliefs, what I believe in, and what I stand for. And those are the clients that come your way because it's what they see, is what they get, and I believe in authenticity and genuineness, and I keep it real, and people love it or hate it. So the ones that I have are people that happen to love it. So the marketing piece is also, you know, like I said, social media is a biggie. Like Instagram, LinkedIn. I've gotten clients from Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, outside of insurances, because they'll market for you. That's free marketing right there. Word of mouth, speaking engagements, vendors, being a sponsor, doing panels. So it's a plethora of ways to get clients. And it's being consistent with that all over the board. So if I am, like I said, my specialty is domestic violence, chances are my talks are going to be about domestic violence. When I'm on the radio show, it's going to be about domestic violence. When people reach out to me, they're like, okay, Dr. Cooper, domestic violence. So when radio shows is like, okay, we wanted you to talk about domestic violence, keynote speeches, we want you to talk, you know what I mean? All those things are surrounded by the things that I stand for, the things that I do. So it's really being careful about how you want to market yourself and how you want to be seen to the community, because that's where they're going to reach out to you for. And after PhD, unfortunately, it gets busier. And you know, Dr. Watson, she always told me, my mentor, she's like, this is just preparing you for what's to come later. And she did not lie. I'm busier than I was in my doctoral program, sorry. But it's the truth, especially if you're just a go-getter and you want to make a difference and make a change, you'll find yourself doing more and more things. And sometimes I feel like I bite off more than I can chew, but at the same time, it's a matter of trying to make an impact. Delegating tasks to staff. This is still sometimes a problem for me. I actually have 2 MFT, and I'll speak more about that later, MFT interns, master's level. My one intern, she does all my phone calls and my scheduling. That took a lot. She just started doing that this past December. She was like, Dr. Cooper, please let me help you. I was doing it all myself, but I had an issue. I was like, okay, what, she messed up, what, she drops the ball? But it feels so good to just give that to her. She does all the scheduling, answers all the phone calls. I don't have to worry about it. I just look at my schedule, I see the clients. So, you know, it's knowing when to delegate tasks. Knowing when to say, hey, I got a little bit too much on my plate. It's okay if I can pay someone to help me out, because I can make money-making moves while they're doing this. Because me answering phones, yeah, that's a money-making move. Me playing with my calendar, not so much. Me playing with my website, no. If it's not bringing me direct revenue, then I can delegate that. And that's how you distinguish what you can delegate, and what you can do yourself. Taking the leap. That was the scariest thing I have ever done in my life. The dissertation defense was scary too, but I knew I had to do it because I was anxious. So I took the leap in January of last year. So I started in March of 2015. My practice became full around September of 2016. So it took me a little less than 2 years. On average, it's 2 years to grow a full private practice, but I say the floodgates had opened, and I found myself working 20-hour weeks in my practice, plus working 40 hours a week as clinical director. That was crazy. I had no time. I was always tired, and so I gave myself a 90-day period of time. And it was September of 2016, I said, okay, I'll give myself to December and I have to resign on the 31st. Or actually 2 weeks before the 31st, which is what I did. And my boss at the time wasn't too happy about that. He was pretty upset, but I told him I knew what I wanted to do and I knew the passion that I had within myself that it was greater than just this type of work. Because he was kind of discouraging, like, oh, you're only going to make about $55,000 a year. I was like, well, I mean, I'm pretty much a little bit over that now. It's not much of a difference. You know, if that is the case, at least I can say I'm working for myself and I don't have to answer anymore. And honestly, the nail in the coffin was when I had to present at a conference. And I let him know months before that I had this conference. It was a big to-do that I didn't show up for work when I told him. And so I was like, you know what, this was my sign, I gotta get out of here. Because I can do what I want, when I want, if I have my own business full time. So that leap, I had to do a lot of prayer, a lot of meditation, and just ask for the guidance to lead me to the place where I can be sustainable financially. So I had to do a financial plan, break down all of my necessary bills, not the random like gym membership, even though that's good too, but like the going out to eat and all that, I cut that out. But it's like at the basic level, what is it that I need in order to survive? And so I use that along with what I made in my practice currently. And as a result of that, I was able to scale and say, okay, you know what, I can take the leap. Plus saving money also helps as well. I gave myself a cushion just in case. And so, you know, I had got a big promotion. And so that extra money, I just put that in my savings account, put in my savings account, so that just in case I had some cushion in case things fall. But on the up and up, it actually kept growing. It gave me more space to add more clients. It gave me more space to add more supervisees, because right now I think I have about 15 private supervisees outside of Mercer. And it gave me the flexibility that I needed in order to proceed. So this is me now. This is my 2 MFT interns from NCU. I just hired another MFT associate. She just graduated with her master's. So they all have their own different styles. Doing supervision with them because I'm based primarily in narrative and collaborative and solution focused. These 2 are very much experiential. One is Satir, the other is Whitaker. And Whitaker drives me crazy because it's totally not my style. And so I've had to meet her where she is. And you know, she's a little older than I am. She's about my mom's age, so that's an interesting situation there, dynamic, but I learned so much from all of them. I also have my assistant. She's an undergraduate. She actually just graduated. She's actually started her MFT program at Mercer this fall. And she's amazing. She has been spearheading, I do events now, so I did like a Christmas couples date night back in December. I did a summer date night back in July. We have actually a lot of men have been asking me to do a workshop, so I got a workshop. I haven't actually officially put it out there, but it's called Man Cave Conversations. So it's for men of color to discuss relationships, just life in general, that I'll be starting kind of to segue through. Got a women's empowerment weekend event along with a colleague of mine. She has a group called the Super Sisters Empowerment Network, and it's all about helping women who to overcome domestic violence and things like that. So we have in October a weekend retreat for these women to just express themselves. We have a lot of workshops coming up. So it just really kind of expanded quicker than I anticipated that it would. And you know, my caseload, honestly, right now I am booked out through the middle of June. I can't take any more clients. So, and that's a blessing. And at the same time, it gives the opportunity for the interns to be able to see clients and do what they need to do as well to get their hours and also learn entrepreneurship, because you know it's motivating for them and they get the inside scoop of exactly what's going on as it relates to growing. So now where I am now is in the scaling phase. So technically the scaling phase, so the growing phase is kind of between 0 and like 40, 50 a year, 1,000. Scaling phase is where you're trying to get to the 6-figure mark of 100,000. So I'm in that scaling phase right now. So I'm pushing and pushing for the goal. So now I have my goals. I'm like, okay, I need to make this amount a month to get to this amount for the year. So it's doing different things in order to incorporate. But the important piece is multiple streams of income. So I've got supervision, consultation, TV shows, radio, speaking. You know, you can just go down the list, but it all depends on what you want to do and what you're interested in and what you're passionate about. So I got, they haven't contacted me back yet, but I got a call a couple weeks ago from WeTV. But I'm kind of sketchy about reality television because there's some reality couple and they want therapy and they want me to ask certain questions. You know, those shows where they want you to kind of probe to make them blow up in the session on TV. I said I have my own integrity, my own professional image, and I don't want to destroy my brand. So I had to hire an entertainment lawyer. That's a whole other thing in itself, going into multimedia, because that is a goal, is to be on television, but to do so in a way that reflects who I am, not to be some person just to make a dollar, because it's not worth it. But it is another stream of income at the same time. So things that have gone well, I said having a thriving practice, of course, that took less than 2 years to build, which was a blessing. Meeting Monica Shaw, I call her my money therapist. She is absolutely amazing. She actually just convinced me to join her money club. It's called Rise Academy. And she teaches female entrepreneurs how to become millionaires. So she built her business in 5 years and became a millionaire. But she hit rock bottom. And her first event, I think she only had like 10 people. That was back in 2012. Now she has over 200 people at all her events. And so she teaches women how to build businesses of all kinds, so the life coaches, I mean, it's all kinds of business owners, but to teach them how to thrive and how to succeed and how to be wealthy. Because I had a problem when I met her that I said I wasn't so concerned with making a lot of money, I was more concerned with making an impact. And she was like, well, you need money to do that, right? I was like, well, yeah, that is true, you know, and so it changed my whole thinking about the money aspect, even when it comes to having a six-figure practice. I said, well, if I get to 6 figures, I'm good with that. She said, why not 7? You know, and so she challenged me and pushed me to the next level to show that, hey, this is possible. It's not an impossible thing to do, and it's okay if you want to be wealthy, you know, and it's not about, oh, let me be rich and I'm not making an impact, but it's kind of like the more wealthy I can be, the more impact I can make. So it helped to change my total mindset as it relates to money and being wealthy. Making your own schedule, most beautiful thing in the world. If I don't feel like going in, now it's a trade for trade. If I don't feel like going in and I'm tired, I'll just ask my intern Jill, hey, can you cancel my clients for the day? I'm bummed out, and I know when I'm in a space where I can see people all day, and I know when I'm in a space where I can't. So, even taking vacations. I do vision boards every year. On New Year's Eve, it's just been my tradition for the past 4 or 5 years, and I realize what you put out into the universe, it comes to you, and the universe loves specificity, and so that's what I do. So I told myself that I wanted 4 weeks off this year, somehow, some way. I don't know how it's going to look, but I already got 1 week down. The Estes Fest might be week 2. And 2 weeks off at the end of the year. But I know some therapists who take the whole summer off. I know some therapists who take the whole month of December off. So that's the goal of where I want to be sooner than later. Television speaking opportunities that are paid, that's another thing too. Like I said, the more known you are, the more clout you have, the more you can ask for what you want. And I guess I'm modest to a fault. I'm too humble to a fault because I get uncomfortable. Now I got a speaking issue because I'm trying to figure out, I don't know what to tell, like, oh, what's your price? I'm like, oh, $150, and I told somebody, I was like, $150 hour or something, and my business coach, he was like, what? He was like, that don't make sense to me, and I'm in this mental health speakers group on Facebook, and the woman who's in charge of it, she is a psychologist, and this woman gets paid about $15,000, $20,000 a speaking gig. So she does corporate funding, corporate companies and things like that. That's another market in itself. So it just all depends on what it is that you're interested in and what you want to do. So, and a lot of times, we go to conferences, we're paying to speak as opposed to being paid to speak, which to me is two different things. But it's great to have a platform because I've been there, I still do it, and present at conferences and pay money to the conferences to get my CEUs as well, which I know as y'all get licensed, that will be another thing in itself. Having a team to assist, like I said, like the team that I have, like my undergraduate student, when I have an event, all I gotta tell her, I want this event on this date, this is the theme I got, go ahead. All I gotta do is give her money, she executes it. That helps so much. So she has the vision, she knows what I want, she knows how I like things to be, and that's one less thing that I have to worry about. Limitless earning potential, biggie, because like I said, people have been discouraging along the way. along my path and said, oh, you sure you want to do that? Oh, you're only gonna make but so much, you may not, you know, it's a lot of businesses that haven't succeeded. You get a lot of those things, and that's just what comes with the territory, unfortunately. And you do have encouraging messages as well and say, hey, you're gonna be successful, you're gonna be good, you know, but you gotta listen to your own gut and listen to your own intuition. And mine is like an internal compass. So if I feel myself keep pointing in a certain direction, that lets me know that, hey, you know what, I think you're on the right track. Let's keep this going. Let's keep the momentum going. Passive income, the most beautiful thing in the world. You can make money while you sleep. It's the best. So with my interns, we do a sliding scale for them. And, you know, being that they're not licensed, they have to be self-pay only. But we do like $50 for them. But, you know, on average, my one intern, she's been there since the beginning of this year. So she has on average about 15 clients a week. And we do, I'm fair, I do a split with her, you know, 40-60 split kind of thing, but that's making money while I'm not even there. Like she has clients this week where I'm going. That's passive income. You know, and so it's thinking about what other generating things you can do, like books or, you know, things that you don't have to actively do in order to make money. It's like, oh, I got money in my account, didn't have to lift a finger. You know, so passive income, that takes time too to generate, and I'm kind of in the budding phases of that myself. But the more you have it, the more you can bring in more, the more you can do more to, you know, so the more you do, the more you get in. The more you do, so it's kind of like, I feed into the business, it gives, you know, it pays me back. So what I put into it is what I get out of it. And like I said, the multiple income streams, growing a positive reputation, that's big for me because I want to be known as the therapist who offer quality professional services. That, you know, even if it's not a good fit, it's just not a good fit, but overall, that, you know, when word of mouth is the best feeling to know when a person was referred to me by another person who says, oh yeah, we heard you were very amazing and we really want to work with you. And at that case, they don't care how much you charge because they want you. You know what I mean? So it's like, how can I be the best at what I do? What makes me special? What makes me stand out from? Because it's a lot of therapists, and it's more than enough clients for all of us to share. But what makes me stand out individually that makes people want to work with me, in the, you know, at any context. Okay, so things to pay attention to, like I've been saying, niche. What do you want to be known for, and who do you want to contact? Who do you want to have contact you? Because I promise you, whatever you put on that website, whatever you put on your Psychology Today, those are the clients you're going to get. And so I'm very careful about who